Welcome to the very first week of 2024. So, as we step into the dawn of the new year, I hope this message finds you full of hope, inspiration, and this year, a sprinkle of the magic that 2024 brings into our lives. We enter the week of January 1st to the 7th, a time when resolutions are made, goals are set, the energy of new possibilities is in the air. Whether you're diving headfirst into ambitious plans or savoring quiet moments of reflection, know that the universe is aligning to support your journey. As we begin to embrace the energies of the first week, let's carry the momentum of fresh starts, the optimism of new beginnings. This is your canvas to paint with intentions and dreams and desires and goals. A cosmic invitation to create and shape the chapters of your unfolding story. I'm truly grateful to have you here, sharing in this cosmic adventure. So let's navigate the celestial currents and explore the insights for the week, and infuse these first days of the year with positivity and purpose. So stay tuned as we go to the cards to unravel the threads from January 1st through to the 7th. I'm excited to share my insights, offer guidance, and be a part of your journey into this bright new year. Wishing you love and joy in a week filled with magic. So let's make it an amazing 2024. And now for your personal tarot, sun, moon, or rising sign focus. I'll see you there. Welcome, Sagittarius. This is your weekly focus, January the 1st through the 7th, 2024. I'm Tilly. This is Tarot with Tilly. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. And let's just dive right into the cards, shall we? So I'm excited to see what cards you have. I'm really excited to see what cards you have. Because for you, unlike anybody else that I'm doing a reading for, you have, at the beginning of the week, Mars, Mercury, and Venus all sitting in your sign, in your sun sign. So those are 3 of the 5 personal planets, the other 2 being the sun and moon. As the week moves forward, Mars moves into your money house. So, Mars leaves you and driving yourself to driving your money, driving things towards you growing your wealth. And anyways, let's look at the cards and see what they have to say. Did I cut them? I think I cut them. So your bottom card is. So the underlying energy is the 4 of Wands. So the 4 of Wands is here. This is like a marriage or proposal kind of card. Signing contracts, making agreements, sealing a deal. So all those things can happen. But when I first picked up the card, what came to me was that you've got to celebrate the little moments. Maybe things are starting to evolve because since I've started doing the weeklies, you've been on fire. So no pun intended. Fire sign, if you didn't know. This is about starting to celebrate the little moments, because you need to realize that this is the new path forward. Things are getting better, and you have to see it in your world. And maybe you've been hoping for this bump, this progression for quite some time, and you're not really believing that it's here to stay, that it's just a little glip in this whole thing because you've seen it before and then it just went down. And I think there's some kind of fear actually happening here that you aren't really destined for joy and happiness. And Sag, out of all the signs, you are the most optimistic. So if you're not optimistic, what does that say for everybody else on the planet? So this is about regaining that optimism, not living in that anxiety of, the other shoe's going to drop. And celebrate each little moment. The more you start celebrating those little moments, and maybe you're doing it with somebody else, or at least celebrate it with your friends, celebrate it with someone, even if it's just sharing it over coffee. Okay, that's celebrating it, right? Just saying, you won't believe what's happening with me. And that just adds to the magic of what's already happening naturally for you. You're just giving it more energy and more power and more focus. So get rid of the negative. The shoe's not going to drop here. Okay? Things are really working for you in a magical sense. So it's time. It may only be 4 wands in the ground, and we hung up a little bit of garland right now. It's nothing like the castle that we are imagining, but we're on our way, right? We got our foundation. We're starting to add beauty to it. Okay, our first card is the Nine of Cups. Start making some wishes. Okay, it is the first week in January, and we are all in some one way or another, making resolutions. But I want you to make some really sound wishes, desires, hopes, dreams for yourself. It doesn't matter how outlandish they are, they're possibilities. They're what might happen if you decide to go a certain way. What could happen with a little bit of luck or a little bit of magic, or maybe it's the elbow grease that counts. Make wishes that if they were to start to evolve and become tangible in your life, that you are beating the alarm clock every single morning because you can't wait to start your day, because it's going to be better than the last, knowing that tomorrow will actually be better than this day. Start making your wishes. Write them down. I don't care how silly they are. I've given everybody homework, okay, within the 3 cards. Some of them it was like, oh gosh, I haven't given you homework yet. But you, for your first card on the board, we don't count the underlying energy for the week as a card on the board. This is your actual first card, and it's about making those wishes. It's about understanding that you have the potential right now to make those wishes become your reality. Queen of Wands. Doesn't mean we're going to act really fast on anything we do. We're just not going to, throw the spaghetti on the wall and hope some of it sticks. We're going to plan it out. We're going to strategize a little. We're going to take it down and add some practicality to it. Okay? And I think that's when Mars kind of maybe will flip over into Capricorn on you, into your money house, and start saying, okay, we need to get serious. We can't be wasting our time doing this if it's not drawing in an income, or it's not making us money, or it's not moving us in the way to make the money. So that could be, you're in a job and there's nowhere to go because you don't want to go anywhere in this company, and, it's run a certain way and it doesn't fit with who you are. And so it's time to go and look elsewhere. Somebody else who will appreciate your talents, your abilities, what you bring to the table. And it becomes enjoyable. And, and they say, companies will tell you, if we put out, we need a general laborer, we get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of resumes. But if we put out, we need a manager or somebody in payroll or auditing or human resources or anything like that, we get a couple hundred. Because nobody really believes their value, and nobody believes their natural, their life skills. Maybe you don't have a diploma in it, but you sure have life skill, and you can talk towards your life skills if and when you get that interview. But start thinking outside the box a little bit, but also do your research. Okay, ask questions about different ways that you want to grow your life. I mean, this could be in anything, right? We're only on the second card, so this could be your relationships growing. This could be your spirituality. This could be your health and well-being. This could be changing your habits, your routine, new ways, new adventures, starting a business, getting a promotion, falling in love, putting the spark back into the relationship, whatever it might be for you. Don't just act. Think about it. Plan on it. Research it. And then you'll never have to look over your shoulder to see if you should have gone another route, because it was the right step the first time around. We have the Strength card. This is a card that's been showing up in almost everybody's readings. The Strength card is here to tell you to walk with integrity. Don't try and take the shortcut right now. The shortcut will not work, okay? Things are happening. Oh, and look, I can just cross over the rainbow bridge there and I'm all set. Chances are no. Especially in today's world, we have to keep our eyes. Somebody put as a comment recently that I owe you an apology. I didn't think you were authentic and real, and now that I've watched you, yeah, you are very authentic and real, and I apologize. It's just we have that field around us, right? We check our emails. I won from Canadian Tire in a single day 7 times. I was picked. They're lined up one right after the other, and I kind of oop, a little glitch in the system, guys, as you're trying to spam me. There's so we're leery if there's not enough information attached to it, or we're just being shown something new for the first time. We have to think it through, and this is asking us to, yeah, to walk with a sense of integrity, to not look for the shortcut, to know that you have to do the work and you're okay with doing it because you know the successes are on the other side of it. It's also about embracing your courage and your strength and taking a risk on you right now. My goodness. This is the most opportune time in quite some while for you, where there's been this much magic infused week after week after week. So look at where you want to take a risk with yourself, and I'm sure you have. And maybe, there's been a couple of little things that have been going your way, and it's like, wow, that happened, and this happened, and it's telling you it's okay. We've got you here. We're helping you create this path. But you have to design it. You have to strategize. You do have to design and strategize it in some way. Absolutely, with these cards on the deck. You have to ask the questions. You have to have the information. You can't do it on intuition alone or a whimsical, serendipity moment for you. Work and career, the Nine of Wands. Wow. You're stepping into some big shoes here with this card. Collectively. Now, this might be work, this might be career. This could be your stature in the community or within the home, maybe even within the workplace itself. Of what you do, of what you stand for, of what you're, and this is, and I'm going to tell the story. So I'm sorry if, the best way of describing this, because all those ones in the back are your path that you have walked in order to get to the here and now, and they all have foliage. They're straight, they're tall, and that one that you're holding in your hand, that one that's all gnarled and stumpy and has no growth whatsoever on it, and you are saying, do I really want to walk this path? Will I be able to have success on this path? Will I be able to grow it as tall and straight as the others? Will I allow it, be able to put growth into it, expansion into it? So a young girl, long time ago, was making threads. Different threads, colors, different sizes. Some were ropes. And one day her father says, we have to pack up our wares and go and sell them. And while we're gone, how about we look for a husband for you? So she said, okay, father. And she packed up everything and away they went. There was a violent storm at sea and all perished except for her. She was washed upon the beach. And these armed guards come up to her and they say, we have to take you, we have to take you into town. And so they tied her up and brought her into town and put her up for sale. And a guy saw her there and thought, well, I could probably use somebody like her. She's young, she's fit. And so he bought her and he took her home. And he was in the material and the textiles. So he taught her how to weave fabrics and different, as fine as silk, but as strong as a tarp, and different colors. And one day he says, it's time to go and sell our wares. So, okay, she packed everything up, and that ship was overtaken by pirates, and she was taken prisoner. They taught her how to make the long poles that would hold the sails. And so she went and she worked there, and then there's another violent storm. And she finds herself washed up on the shore again. And she is so angry right now. She says, every time I accept my path, every time I think, okay, I'm making some friends, I'm grounded here, it's an okay life, you come and you just rip it all away. You just take it all away, and here I am. And these two armed guards walk up and say, we have to take you to the emperor. And she says, of course you do. So she goes with them to the emperor, and the emperor talks about this legend of the single woman that was washed upon their shores. And she would build a tent so miraculous, so wonderful, so marvelous that it would attract riches for the kingdom and the emperor himself. And people from far and wide all across the world would travel to see these tents. Are you that woman? And she thought about it, and she thought, yeah, I could probably build a tent. Sure. So, she doesn't want to go to the dungeon. Yeah, I can build a tent. So she goes, okay, first thing we need is this kind of material. And we don't have that. She goes, don't worry, I know how to do it. So I'll just teach everybody. And next, she needed the ropes to tie all the tarps down. And they said, well, we don't have anything like that here. Don't worry, I know how to make it. We'll make some. Give me a team. Finally, it was time to make the long poles to make the tents stand up straight. We don't have anything like that here. Don't worry, I know how to make them. Give me a team. And when the tents went up, all the world came to see these miraculous rainbow tents that appeared in this kingdom. And the emperor puts her in front of him again. And he says, I don't know how to thank you. I don't know how to repay you for something as wonderful as what you've given us. How can I repay you? And she thought about it for a long time. And she says, well, when I first set sail with my father, I was to find a husband. So I guess I would like a husband. And the emperor said, marry me. And they lived happily ever after. So maybe all this time you just haven't been prepared enough, ready enough to actually marry the emperor and have a sustainable, happy life. So you're sizing up this path. Are you ready for it? Because you are prepared for it. It's going to take courage, and it's a brand new beginning, and there's a lot of unknown. That is your working career. And you may just get the inklings of it. You may just start to see it, but you've got to do the daytime job, and you're at that stage. That's okay. It's whether or not you're going to accept the challenge. It's whether or not you believe in yourself enough to go forward in the way that you need to go forward in order to have that best life ever. Relationships. The Ace of Swords. Oh my goodness. If you are single, wow. Your eyes meet across a dark, crowded room. And the rest is history. This is like you meet somebody and the sparks go. You know it immediately. Your aura meets their aura, and it's just wow. Did you feel that? And immediately it feels like you've known each other forever. You have so much in common. You do the same things. Very relatability. Both of you can work together in harmony in order to move forward towards great successes. Maybe your best life ever, but now yours and their best life ever combined. This is aha moments. This is epiphanies. This is, yeah. Well, brand new. Start thinking, if you are single, start thinking about who do you want to come into your life? And remember, we have this card, right? And then we had this card right after. So we have the wishes card. So wish them into being. But, if they're after, the first date or the second date, then start asking their friends about them. Start doing some research. Start digging a little. Seeing if there's any red flags to be seen before you invest yourself like you would. If you are in a relationship, just watch the fireworks go off. really, there's some kind of inspiring moment that just takes you to a whole different level if you allow it to be. This could be putting the spark back into a relationship. Tony Robbins says if you spend every day like your first day, you'll never have a last day. So after time, we show all of our little hats that we wear. We show all of our little masks that we wear to the other person, and some of the romance leaves, and then we forget to say I love you, or we forget to kiss goodnight, or and there's just that little bit of separation that just keeps on going and going and going. And this is the time when zap, kapow, I saw kapow. Something happens and you just take it back to the beginning. And will that take work? Chances are it will. Will it take a conscious thought and effort? More than likely. Will it be worth it? Most definitely. Spirituality, King of Wands. Okay, so when you are meditating, when you are praying, when you're going for those walks, you're talking to your higher self, you're sitting in solitude and silence, think about just one step that you need to do. Okay? Now, how are you going to complete that one little step? Tomorrow you're going to maybe do that step. And then the third day you're going to sit in quiet contemplation again, or whatever you're doing, prayer. Help me please. I need this in my life. I need to grow this. I need a straight path. I need information. I need what do you need? What do you need from them? But it's also, it's now we're going to just look at that first step and how we did. And do we want to continue with that, or do we want to expand in a different way? Do we want, and most times, for the first week, we're just continuing with that and seeing how that expands. And then, but you're going to keep, it's almost like this backward motion. Was it you last week too? I had this with? Is this a repeat? Or was that another sign? So you see in your mind, you moving forward, right? And then see in your mind what worked and what didn't work. And then see in your mind you moving forward in a new step. Or maybe it's just the imagining of the new step, and then you can see yourself doing that. Maybe it's all in one, but then you take it back again. So it's like these waves rolling in and out and in and out and in and out. But they take a little bit more of the shore each and every time. Okay? Yeah, the tide's coming in for greatness in your life. Health and well-being, we have the Eight of Wands. Start expanding your world. Start seeing all the different things that are open and offered to you on a regular basis. This is about not only, it's so not about going from A to B, this reading. This reading is about enjoying the journey. So be in the moment, be open to new experiences, new ways of thinking, new people coming into your life. The aha moments, the epiphanies in your dreams, waking and sleeping. Absolutely. You ever sit there and you watch a show and all of a sudden the credits are rolling and you're like, what happened? I missed it. And you were staring right at the TV, but your mind took you off. That's us going into dreamland. That's us going into trance. It's a natural human thing that each and every one of us does many times a day. Not just it happens infrequently. It happens very frequently in our life that we go into trance. The thing is to become conscious of those moments so that you can utilize those moments to put your wishes, your dreams, your desires into place. Okay, let's go to Circle of Doors Tarot. Let's see what this deck gives us. It's been pretty accurate, this deck today. There was one or two signs maybe so far where it didn't quite jive, but I just figured that must be an extra message that is needed. I mean, I'm not working with a ton of cards because it's just a weekly. The Devil. The 15 energy. Well, I could talk about that in great length. It's one of my more favorite cards in the deck to talk about, but we'll see what they say. Oh, I went flying by it. Because they do take the meaning of the tarot to a whole new level. I knew you'd be back. You can't resist my secrets. Take up my mantle of defiance. Let's weave a glorious calamity. Discover yourself in the rabbit hole. Discover yourself in the rabbit hole. In the deepest, darkest basement of your infinite soul are songs of pure rage, hymns of burning desire, poems of delicious rebellion. The traumas, the pains, the struggles yearn to be witnessed and blessed, so you might become whole again. The devil is the greatest healer, one who embraces all that is rejected and hidden away. Nothing that happens in this life happens outside of the one divine unity, and to be a devil is to see the perfection being expressed through everything. So, what do you find when you dig to the bottom of yourself? How can you find compassion and love in the greatest of tragedies? What would happen if you made the darkness your most trusted ally? That reminded me so much right now of Joe Dispenza, because he does a lot about, embracing the darkness. Where most people, when they're taking into hypnosis, is saying, now you see this great white light. He doesn't. He says, just keep diving right into that darkness. Become one with it. So I just love him for that. Okay, your affirmations for the week is my love shines light on the deepest darkness. I do not judge myself for my desires, which is a very important thing to say. Every struggle hides a blessing. I set myself free from shame. And this week, I've decided to add the Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. So I'm just going to make some room here. I'm going to fan them out. I won't look. So far, these cards, I couldn't cheat as good as these cards have come out, so. Okay. I see my parents as tiny children who need love. I see my parents as tiny children who need love. Well, that would be a Sagittarius heart, wouldn't it? I have compassion for my parents' childhoods. I now know that I chose them because they were perfect for what I had to learn. I forgive them and set them free, and I set myself free. So, a little bit of gratitude here, a little bit of knowing where you come from, a little bit of knowing some of your morals, your values that you inherited from them, some of your personality. Every so often when I was disciplining the kids, I thought, that's my mom. And both of my parents have passed. And, the older I got, the more I realized how much I still need to learn from them. And I don't think you can ever learn all there is to know. They take some of their secrets with them. Although my mom used to make this one recipe. It was so good. And she wouldn't give the recipe away, so she took it to her grave. Let's talk about Grandma's secret recipe. She took it to her grave. And so when I went over to Europe, I was talking to my one remaining aunt left on the planet, and she said, oh, I have that recipe, but she sent it to me, and part of it was in German, some of it was in Dutch, some of it was in English, some of it was typed, 2 different kinds of handwriting. I couldn't put it together. So my son actually did a bunch of research on what he could understand from it and found a recipe that was similar, and it was just like eating Grandma's squares all over again. Anyways, until we meet again, remember, I do love you.